All right. Great rise, great rise, great rise. In the moonlight. You know who this is. It's your girl, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate. And it is Melanated Monday. And it is the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So if you have had an opportunity to do something to recognize him today, good for you. Great rise, D Mays. That's what I'm talking about, King. Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully tonight will cause people to think and take notes. Like it's gonna be really important for these next few, however long Most High got me doing this, for people to take notes. I'm giving information, lots of information. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to stick around. If not, come on back. Make sure you share it. Share the video. It's always important that you all share the information. What's going on, DJ Mooney D? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. We want to get folks in here to get this info. Get it. Okay. Tonight is part 2 of the illusion of truth. And when I tell you we getting deep, we gonna get deep and deep and deeper even in this illusion of truth. We're gonna discover the real facts behind the lies. Okay, the information that has been hidden. We're gonna get to it. All right. So y'all come on in. Tell your folks, come on in. I'm live. I'm ready. Are you? Are you? Yeah, come on in. Get this info. I don't know how long I'm gonna have you here. I think I can hold it out for a whole hour. It's a lot of info, so I'm gonna break it up though. So again, tonight is part 2 of the illusion of truth. A lot of information is going to be given this evening, so you have a moment to get something, to take note. You're going to need to take notes, okay? If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. YouTube channel is, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share the link. Okay, YouTube. I'm gonna give you all a moment, another minute before we get started, and whoever's here is gonna get it from the beginning, and whoever's not gonna have to catch on when they get on, right? I know I'm definitely gonna have to repeat some things. So what I will do, I will do a brief recap. I'm not going to go through everything at all on what we discussed last week, but we were talking about citizenship. What is it? And the processes, and are we really that? Okay. This part stems from that. Part 2 stems from that. Y'all don't go away. Don't think you know what I'm talking about, because I guarantee you don't. Okay. You know, I like to play on words. Don't think you know, because you'll miss it. Um, we did some definitions on what a citizen is. We've gone into corporations, what it is. We've gone into the naturalization. What does that mean? The whole processing. We talked about some of the steps to become a citizen. And if you all have taken those steps, there were 10 of them. We talked about the oath of allegiance, things that are voluntary, what we really are. What's going on, Miss Carla? Glad you made it back, loved one. Hope you have fun. We talked about based on the definition and how we've been handled. We've been calling ourselves citizens. We've been checking that box off since forever. And based on the definition of it all, we're not that. Um, Today's stuff is going to stem from that. What's going on, Faith? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. I'm so excited about this. Like I say, it's just going to keep growing. It's going to get deeper and deeper. Okay. And again, you all have a moment. Please get something to take notes. type some things in the comment section while I'm going through them, but you definitely do not want to miss any of this information, okay? And that's only water. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So hint last week about the birth certificate. I just touched on it a little bit, told you about a few things that were listed on it, and we're gonna go in on that tonight. It's important that you understand what is being said. Okay. So if at any point I'm saying something that you're not quite getting, you must get an overstanding as to what is being said. Okay. So let's start off. I always got to give you the definitions of things, right? A birth certificate. We all have one, right? That's not a big deal. We know what it is. It's based on it. It tells when we were born, right? Gives you the information when we were born. So the legal definition of it, however, is a document issued by the government that records the birth of a child for vital statistics, tax, military, and census purposes. It is an official record declaring place of birth. It contains signature and date of a state official, a state seal, and a registration certificate. A document issued by government that records the birth of a child for vital statistics, tax, military, and census purposes. The official record declaring place of birth. It contains a signature and date of a state official, registration number. We good on that? Simple enough, right? Okay. Thank you, loved one. I appreciate you. So then we want to know how it's used. Like you all know, you've been asked to prove your identity, bring two forms of ID to whatever. And most of the time, people are asking you for a birth certificate or a passport, or your social security card, a bill with your name, whatever, something like that, right? So your birth certificate, again, is used as proof of age, citizenship status, and identity. Now, I'm going to talk about how we are classified as corporations because everything that is written in our name that comes through the mail, addressed to the name that we recognize, is written or typed rather in all capital letters. The information on your birth certificate is in all capital letters. Okay, so you understand at this point that we are dealing with corporations. So the proof of age, the citizenship status, and the identity refers to the name of the corporation. Okay, as does what the certificate actually is. The records of birth is basically the creation of the entity. Okay, the document issued by the government that records the birth. The birth is the creation of the entity. Keep it in mind, okay? One thing that you should know also about this birth certificate is that it was not always a necessary document, and only certain people were required to have it as proof of identity. And this was during World War II when the workers who were in the industry of aircraft manufacturing, they were required to have a birth certificate as proof of the, that is was created. I guess it was created during World War II, so it's a World War II agency, part of the U.S. government, called the War Manpower Commission, What that did was remove the mandate that people had to have the birth certificate because it was difficult for them to get it. So it removed the mandate for the wartime workers. Let me make that clear. It removed the mandate for wartime workers to have a birth certificate as proof of their identity because most of the people didn't have it. They didn't have access to it. Um, Another thing that the certificate is used for is used in order to obtain a social security number. You know this. Anytime you want to apply for something, again, you got to have at least two forms of ID. A social security number is a requirement. If you are operating as a business, then you would use it for the EIN number. You recognize the EIN number to be an employee identification number. I'm going to tell you that that is incorrect. Okay, but we'll talk about that later. All right. So your birth certificate is needed to obtain a social security number and or an EIN. Your birth certificate also gives access, listen to me, gives access to the rights and privileges and obligations of citizenship. I'll read that again. Your birth certificate gives access to the rights and privileges and obligations of citizenship. Going back to last week's show, we discovered that based on the requirements, based on the forms that have to be filled out, the ceremony that has to take place, and all these other things, that none of us have done those things. None of us have. So based on that, we are not, citizen does not accurately describe us. Okay. Um, but the birth certificate gives access to the rights and privileges and the obligations of citizenship. It consists of live birth. Okay, let's do that. Let's stress this. It consists of the U.S. Standard Certificate of Live Birth application form, which the state used to collect data to issue a formal birth certificate, which is then issued to individuals. So I stress to you live birth. There's a difference between the birth certificate and a live birth application. They're not the same. Who knew? Right? We hear it be said like it's interchangeable, like it's one and the same, and they are not. So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about what this live birth is. Live birth is, like I said, it's an application. Mother gave birth. So it's like the notice that a mother gave birth is issued by the medical community as proof of life. So the live birth application form is what you get from the doctors, from the nurses, and the birth certificate. Only the medical community issues the live birth application. Okay. The live birth application includes the baby's name or the corporation's name, the parents, the doctor's name, the hospital, the sex, the race, the record. The certificate is then sent to the Office of Vital Statistics or state register to create the official birth certificate. Okay, are you all with me? Any questions at this point? Any questions, comments, or concerns? Y'all good? Show me a thumb or heart or something. Let me know you're good so I can move on. Because if you miss any of this, you're going to miss all of it. So if you're good, thumbs up. If not, put a question mark or something and I'll go back. But make sure you are paying attention. Take notes. I'll go back if I need to. So again, as a quick reminder, the live birth certificate is an application for the birth certificate. They are not the same. Okay. Here's a note for you. US citizens, that would be us, right, have never, ever received the original birth certificate. We've never received the original copies. They've been certified copies, but not the original, even though they tell you this is the original, but they'll tell you it's an original copy. So you have to pay attention to that as well. The copies have the serial numbers on them and they are authorized. Listen, they are authorized by the American Bank Note Company. Are you listening? We got folks coming on in. That's what I'm trying to see. I'm going to read that again. The copies have the serial numbers that are authorized by the American Bank Note Company. Why is that? Your birth certificate, which we just look at as this stuff being here, we just look at it as proof that a child was born and who their parents are and where they were, where they were born, the time and all that. We look at it as something simple. However, serial numbers on this thing are authorized by the American Bank Note Company. The American Bank Note Company is a subsidiary of American Bank Note Corporation. It's part of another corporation. That's another business. There's some more. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. Can anybody else not hear me? Is everybody else good? Try again. Like maybe go out and come back in or make sure your volume is up. My volume is super up. So I don't know why you can't hear me, but you know how you come on. You know. You know. Okay. So anyway, um, okay, good. So like I said, it is part of the American Banknote Corporation. Now, what this organization does, what do they do? What are they responsible for? What are their products? They list them as products. Their products include currency, obviously, because it's a bank, right? Credit cards, passports, driver's license, and bank has something to do with your birth certificate. Why is that, you say? This is what I'm telling you. The things that we think we know, things that are presented to us as truth, are absolute lies. You are going to learn, if not here, somewhere in your experiences, whatever, that 99.999% of the things that you have learned over your lifetime have been lies, complete untruths, tricks, total deceptions. They've been passed on through generations. These lies have been told since forever. Now, don't be mad at your parents or their parents or their parents or their parents because they didn't know. They had no clue, right? You got to keep the lie going through the generations in order for it to seem like it's the truth. The more you hear something, the more you believe it, right? In this case, the more you hear it, the more you see it, the more you believe it, because You're being conditioned to accept something that is being presented as truth because you keep hearing it, you keep seeing it. You're being presented something that is falsely promoted as truth, so you accept it as truth. So when you get information that contradicts that truth, that's what you'll deny, the actual truth, because the lie you have accepted as a truth. There are some things written about that scripturally. I didn't write those down today, but there are some things written about that. It's like we want to hear lies. We want sweet things whispered to us. Is a lot, and it goes deep. So let's move on. Can you hear me now? I hope everything worked out where you can hear me now. Um, so back to the original birth certificate. The original birth certificate or naturalization record is held in, or with rather, Washington, D.C. Every living U.S. citizen is pledged as collateral for the national debt. Let me reread that, okay? A certified copy. The reason you have never been given an original birth certificate is because your original birth certificate is in Washington, D.C. It is held with Washington, D.C., and the property and assets of every living U.S. citizen is pledged as collateral for the national debt. The original birth or naturalization record is held with Washington, D.C., and the property and assets of every living U.S. citizen is pledged as collateral for the national debt. So remember, we talked about registering things that you register, your car, your licenses, your whatever it is, anything that you register, businesses, you are giving government the authority over that, your property, your assets, your money, your being. You are giving over authority to the government when you register, which is why you and everything you have as collateral for the national debt. Okay? Every citizen is given a number. If you have an opportunity to look at your birth certificate, you will see that there is a red number written on it. But every citizen is given a number. Each live birth, remember there's a difference between the birth certificate and a live birth. The live birth is what comes strictly from the medical community. So every live birth, that would be us for a live birth, whole value. All of us are worth something. Now we know that. We always say, girl, you worth $1 million. Boy, you need to stop. You know you worth $2 million. Then we like to use those terms as if they are terms of endearment or just to give people praises or whatever, being funny, whatever the case is. But the truth of the matter is there is monetary value to you because you are collateral. There's monetary value to you because you are collateral. So each live birth, us, holds a value anywhere between 650 and 750,000 Federal Reserve dollars in collateral. I'll repeat that. Each live birth holds a value between 650 and 750,000 Federal Reserve dollars in collateral from the Fed. Currently, they're at 331,449,281, give or take. Okay. Remember that your birth certificate is a bank note. Your birth certificate is a bank note. It's a bank note. Your birth certificate is tied to a bank. Okay. So, um, citizens basically are considered commodities on a stock market. Did you know that you're on the stock market? I'm going to find out how you can actually search this, but I'm sure there's a way. You can pull up your name or pull up your number on the stock market and see what your current worth is. What is your current value as of today? Because you are a commodity. Let's define commodity. Now, if you remember, you all used to watch Sanford and Son, and that's what Lamont would say. Well, we're in the commodities, and Fred was like, "Yes, junk." Yeah, that's how this is being classified. Okay, so anyway, the definition of a commodity: a basic good used in commerce that is interchangeable with other commodities of the same type. A basic good used in commerce that is interchangeable with other commodities of the same type. Any good exchanged during commerce, which includes goods traded on a commodity exchange. Goods traded, goods traded, goods traded, slave trade, goods traded, slave trade, commodities, slave trade, stock market, commodities, trade. Are you with me? Are you with me? I hope so. Okay. So, moving on, the US citizens are owned. Let's just put that out there. US citizens are owned property of the US Federal Reserve because you're a commodity. You've been purchased. Your birth certificate collateralized. Okay. A note, you are a note in the stock exchange and traded as commodities. If I have to go back, let me know, please. Okay. 650 to 750,000 Federal Reserve dollars for each live birth in America. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for typing that. Yes, ma'am. Because it gets deeper than that. Okay. It gets deeper than that. So here's some more information. History that we've been taught has not been in its full, okay? And some of us have just not been taught certain things in the first place, which is we gonna fix what we can fix right here, okay? You may have heard, first let me do this. There are people who have argued with me years ago about the status of the United States, what it is. It's a country, it's a continent. I mean, I've heard all kind of shit, right? I'm sorry, I won't put it that way. But the argument is that it's a country. I said, no, it's a corporation. And if you did not know, there are two United States of Americas. There's two, right? And there was the United States of America, and the United States. In 1933, in March of 1933, the US government, United States federal government, declared bankruptcy. This was under President Roosevelt and was dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act and was no longer a republic but a democracy. Shall I repeat that? In 1933, like March 9th of 1933, the US government, the United States federal government, declared bankruptcy. Now, how does a country declare bankruptcy? It's a corporation, it's a business. That's how it declares bankruptcy, a restructuring of its finances. So you have a chapter 7, you have a chapter 11, and you have a chapter 13, which is the restructuring of debt, right? The restructuring. The chapter 7 is a complete uh, dismissal, removal of debt. You just canceling out everything. So fortunately, it didn't cancel out everything because then there would probably be no one here, right? Or many people would have lost their lives. Many commodities would have been traded or yeah, extinguished. Okay. So anyway, again, under Roosevelt, 1933, the United States federal government declared bankruptcy and was dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act and was no longer a republic. It became a democracy. At this time, it pledged all Americans as collateral against the national debt. Every last person was pledged as collateral, meaning I'm gonna let you hold these. This is I need a loan from you. So in order for you to give me this loan, I'm gonna give you this collateral. So if I don't cash out, if I don't give you your money, then you can have this. This is what you can take. These are the assets. This is the assets. So people, human beings, us, have been used as collateral against a loan. So if the loan is not paid, then guess what happens? People die. Wars begin. Pandemics happen. Shall I go on? I shall. The US also confiscated at this time all of the gold and silver. And if you don't know, you're going to know today that the dollar bill had no value unless it was backed by gold and silver. So at this time, there's none. There is no gold or silver. So the dollar bill has no value. It's just paper. You can wipe your ass with it. It would have more value based on the nutritional release that's put upon it than it does by not being backed by something of substance. There's no gold or silver backing up the dollar, so it means nothing. Um, so since they took away the gold, they had to find another way for people to be able to pay, right? Um, there had to be another means to pay. So it had to create something. They also had to assume the responsibility of providing a new way to pay. And they did this by providing an exemption to all citizens. All citizens are given an exemption. They had to find a way to allow you to pay for things because there's no more gold, right? There's nothing of value. So we got to figure out how we can get people to give them a way to pay for things when we don't have anything of value. So we're going to give everybody, hear me now, we're going to give everybody an exemption. What does this exemption do? This is what you need to know. What does the exemption do? The exemption releases you from all obligations to pay for anything. I'm going to give you a moment. Let me sip some water on that. This is the government now. This is not my words. I'm not making this up. The exemption releases everybody from the obligation to pay for anything. How? Through the establishment of credit. Ooh, wee. So what you saying, Queen? What I'm saying is we all have a credit line. It's been given by the government because we've been collateralized. Our ability to purchase and pay for things was taken away because there's no gold to back up the paper. So there's got to be a way that we can pay for something. We got to be able to get something. Remember in the beginning, I said the birth certificates were collateralized. There's money, there's a monetary value assigned to these documents that are recorded with your corporation name, your business name on them. So you have already been issued, upon exiting the womb, you have been issued a line of credit. Thank your nice little government for that. You've been issued a line of credit that they never told you about. They never said, Carla, you know what, honey? You ain't got to worry about paying this bill. Why? You got credit. We're going to just take it out your account. We don't even worry about it. You good. You want that house? Oh, all these homeless people out here that don't have nowhere to go. They don't have no food. They can't afford to get shelter. They can't afford to get clothes or medications. But they don't know that. Nobody's ever said that to them. Every U.S. citizen has been issued a line of credit through the exemption. This is the way to pay for everything, is by paying for nothing, right? At birth, a bond was created based on an average value, here it is, of 1 to 2 million dollars. Let's do that again. At birth, when you were born, when you exited the womb, a bond was created based on an average. I think it's called a lodium. It's like a scientific way to determine numbers, math, whatever value. But a bond was created on an average of between 1 and 2 million dollars. What does that mean? That means you have credit between 1 and 2 million dollars. You have credit. You don't have to go in your pocket and pull out this worthless paper or these coins or your credit card because you have credit. It's already been issued upon your exodus. The bonds are collateralized by the birth certificate. The birth certificate was used to secure the loan. I said that earlier. The birth certificates were used and are used to secure the loan. I'm going to give you this money. And in the event I don't, I'm going to take Sally, Joe, Willie, and whoever else and them, and we're going to exterminate them, and that's going to pay off that part of the debt. How many you need? I need. Oh, I'm short 300,000. You see, that's about mm, maybe 1,000 people or so. I'm just making up numbers, so don't be trying to calculate that. But yeah, that's what that look like. If I owe you, take them. They're the they're the collateral. These human beings, these people, these corporations, money. Bonnie Thor, what's going on, girl? Thank you for being here, loved one. I appreciate you. So everything that you have been told about yourself, about your birth certificate, about your financial status, about your access to your financial status, um, lies, all lies. We're going to get deeper. Okay. Again, the bonds were pledged and traded. These are negotiable instruments. Okay. Your birth certificates are negotiable instruments. The bonds are pledged and traded until the value is unlimited. And all the credit that is created belongs to the people. All the credit that has been created belongs to the people. You got credit. You got at least $1 million worth of credit. Let me hold some. Well, I'm sorry, I don't need to now, do I? Absolutely not. What does all this mean? What it means is that legally, you are not responsible to pay for anything. You can tell these people when you go to purchase. Now we're gonna have to go through the whole process. But I don't want y'all getting up in the store talking about put it on my charge, and you be like, well, where your card at? Like, I ain't got it. You gotta look at. We ain't doing that, right? We're gonna go through a whole process. But what will happen when you learn it is that you will be able to tell people to charge it to your exempt account. They do it. You say, how can an organization just kill off people to repay a debt? The debt will still be there, right? How? They're not looking at the people as people. Remember, the people are collateral. The people are things. Things. There's a value assigned to us, right? So let's just say if ABC organization, we want to borrow some, or I can't say we. ABC organization loan XYZ some money, right? XYZ is short on paying ABC the money. So ABC say, well, since you short, uh send me, or you need to exterminate, you need to liquidate your assets. So however many that means, in order for me to get my money back, that's what you're going to have to do. Because remember, there is a value assigned to each individual. There's a value, it's a price tag already. JoJo might be worth $100,000. I'm just throwing out numbers. JoJo might be worth $100,000. Sue might be worth $2.5 million. Lily might be worth 100 grand. Felicia might be worth 1.5 million. Did that total up to the debt that I owe you? No. Okay. So we got to find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? We got to find all of these whoever's these all this collateral, all our assets. How many assets is it going to take to pay off this debt? It's the money value. It's the monetary value attached to us as people. But again, we're looked at as collateral, as things, as corporations. So it's a matter of liquidating the asset. We're assets to the world, to the government. We're assets. Liquidate it. Get your money. There you go. Does that answer your question? If not, I'll do my best to explain it a different way. But I hope that answered the question. Um, but yeah, you have an exempt account, and look here, your exempt account is identified by, what do you think? How do you identify your exempt account? Your social security number, your EIN, your social security number and EIN are your account numbers. Now we say we don't, it's certain things you just not gonna just give any old random person. You just ain't gonna just hand over your bank account to somebody. You're not gonna just hand over, right? You're not gonna just do that. But guess what? Every time somebody asks you for two forms of ID and your social security number is one that you use, um, you just gave them your account number. They just don't know that it's your account number and they don't know what the routing number is. But you gave them your account number. There's money attached to your account number, lots of it. Lots. I never give my account number over. You do it all the time because everything that you want to do requires that you give it up. You're applying for a loan, let me get that social security number. You want to put your kids in school, let me get that social security number. You got to go to the hospital, you need medical insurance, let me get that social security number. Why? Why you got to have all of that? Why you got to have access to my account in order for me to get what I'm asking for? That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But you got my stuff. What do I get in return? Do I get a receipt? Most of the time, you don't even get a receipt. But you have given up your account number. I bet y'all gonna stop doing it now. Oh, and we were talking about the EIN. What we have come to learn that the EIN means that it's your employer identification number for those of you who have your own businesses. Well, that is not necessarily what that is. Your EIN is your exemption identification number. That's the number that says, I don't have to pay you a thing. That's what that is. Now, here you go. Boom. I don't get it out that account. I don't owe you nothing. The exemption identification number. We good? Because I'm gonna move on. Here's my note. The Federal Reserve Bank, here's a reminder because we talked about this last week, that the Federal Reserve Bank ain't no more federal than me. It's privately owned and it's owned by international families. Okay. Like that's that squad. You know what I'm saying? If you need some money, oh, you need big money. We got to go, go to the Godfather, kiss the ring type of stuff to get this here money, right? It's owned by international families, and our physical bodies have been deemed collateral bonds. Our physical bodies have been deemed collateral bonds because private people own us. Isn't that sad? That's effed up. Think about that. Here you out here thinking you just free. You free to be, free to do, free to think, free to whatever. You can do what you want to do. And it's some families somewhere that said, wait a minute, partner, you're not that free. I'm calling payment on the debt. I'm calling payment. I need my money back, partner. So, well, what's good, right? Yeah, you was good. You are that asset. You are the collateral. You about to get liquidated. That's what that means. It's a hot mess. So when you think about war, what is one of the terms that people use when there is a loss of life in war? collateral damage. But you can think about that one. During war, when people that how we know people have lost their lives, they are referred to as collateral damage. Collateral damage. There's an asset that has been destroyed. That counts because there is a monetary value assigned to that individual. They were worth something. How much are they worth? We got all these life insurance and death insurance and whatever insurance. Does that really matter? Again, let me remind you of registration. Everything that you register, be it your vehicle, your license, a title, um, whatever, business, I think I said business, whatever, car, is giving the government authority over that. You register your marriage license, you registering to vote, all of these things is making you liable now. You are obligated to the terms of the citizen because you gave the government authority over you and over your things. What's going on, Jesse? Thank you, loved one, for being here. I appreciate you. I told you all last week about, and we talked about it again today, about the citizenship. There's and I'm going to give it to you. If somebody can type this in, I would appreciate it. But there's a way to find out what your citizenship status is. You can ask Homeland Security. Who? Homeland Security will tell you whether or not you are a citizen. You can go to a website called MyEverify, MyEverify.gov. MYEV, like Victor, ERIFY.gov. You go through that process, you answer a few questions, and it will tell you, yeah, no, we don't have no record of you being a citizen. Or, yeah, you might be, but you definitely not. You probably won't even get a might be. Someone please put that information in here. MYEVERIFY.gov. And when you go to that site, you want to go to where it says FOIA request. Don't ask me what it means because I don't remember. But FOIA request. Once you've gone there, you're going to click on, I don't know if you click it, whatever, but it'll have birth certificate. You want to check the birth certificate, the I-94, and other. Okay. When you get to other, you want to look up all docs relating to citizenship status and then hit submit. It will let you know, just that simple, if you are indeed a citizen, if there's record of you being a citizen. Are there any questions at this point? Does anybody need to call or would like to call and ask a question or comment or concern? I will open my phone for a moment. We're not going to be here because I'm about finished. I'm going to give you a couple more websites to check out. But make sure you get this information for yourself. So if you would like to call, you may 770-906-5271, 770-906-5271. Again, the information that I bring to you, I'm not making it up. There's a whole reason why this is a series. Is always a reason why I come to you with what I come to you with. Please take note. I'm not about the whole trying to be famous and having a gazillion followers, and I don't even care about all of that, right? I'm here to do what my job is, and that's to give you the information the way you need to get the information, whether you like it or not, whether you feel some type of way about it or not. I love you too much to care about how you feel. Okay? Please take note. If you did not take note while you were here, make sure you go back and replay this and get the information that you need. Write down everything that you need. Let me see, G Walker, what you saying, honey? Let me go back here. I don't know why my phone be tripping so much. Okay, well, there you go. You can call and tell me what you said. What you saying, G Walker?
Yes, ma'am. You are absolutely right. If you give me 2 minutes, let me say what I gotta say.
Go ahead.
And you are on the point once again. I don't know how big that point gonna get, but it's real big right now.
Okay.
But
you got your 2 minutes.
What you were talking about earlier about the people being stiff-necked, that's in Second Thessalonians. They're stiff-necked people. They're hard and rambunctious, and the reason that one of the main reasons that people are in the financial rut, spiritual rut, and in rut period is because they're going to these modern day Pharaoh, they're going to these modern day Caesars, and they're turning away from God. So when you turn away from God, He said, "A nation that turns away from me, I'll turn away from that nation."
Yep.
Let me say this. Now, you may not even know this, but let me say this, and let me be clear. Let me make it clear. Okay. I'm not the former president, but let me make it clear.
Okay.
Not only, there are two systems. There's the worldly system, and there's the godly system. The world says, give, give, give. The more you make, the more we take. God says, give, and it shall be given to you. Pressed down, shaken. In other words, He's gonna shake that thing. He gonna give it back to you the way you gave it to Him. He gonna make it. It is all about increase. Right. The world is about you decreasing. God is about you increase. Okay, now let me explain those two systems to you real quick. This, like you say, the way you beat this system, or you ain't gonna win against somebody else domino in their house playing shoot pool or doing other things unless you are a marksman. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna beat them in their own house. But what you do is, I'm gonna give you a quick example, and I'm done. I got a colleague of mine. I'm not gonna call his name. He did this years ago, and I was a witness to that. I like to check my things, and of course, I hope you know that. You started to sound muffled, G. Huh? Your phone was starting to sound muffled. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes. I like to talk about real life examples. I saw him. We go way back. I saw him. There's a lot of history. Anyway, I saw him living in this low rent community. I said, "Yo, man, what you doing?" He said, "Man, I got a plan." And then once he was working with the school system. And when I saw him again, I saw him in the school system. One of the school system my mother used to teach at. Anyway, real quick, he was living in low rent income, saving his money up. Then he said, "Man, see this." He drove me to the house. He said, "See, I'm gonna get this house right here." What he did was he took the system that he was living in. He lived below his means. Then he went and bought the house. Then he said, "I'm gonna get this boat." And the boat he got that he showed me in the magazine, he got the motorcycle that he got that he liked. He saw he got because he was there because he saved his money. He used the system. Right. You see what I'm saying? To his advantage. Absolutely. He got in there, learned the system. Not that he became corrupt like the other people, but he got in there, learned the system, lived below his means, let that money stack up, let that money catch interest with investments and everything else he was doing. Started businesses, started other things, and now the house that he wanted, he got. The car he wanted, he got his wife a car. Guess what? Paid for cash for all of it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, he said, you got to have the right mind. It goes back to the mind again. Absolutely. You got three. I'm going to say this and I'm done. You got a spiritual body. You got a physical body. You got a mental body. You got two bodies. a spiritual body and a physical body. Mm-hmm. The physical body needs physical food. Mm-hmm. The spiritual body, hopefully God's way, but a lot of people don't read. They turn away from God. So you're reading this mess. Yeah, you believe what these modern day pharaohs tell you. You believe what these modern day Caesars tell you. The only Western that you've been to is the Western Steakhouse, because you definitely ain't been to the Western part of the world. Because if you went to other parts of the world, then you would see that you wouldn't take the word of another man. You would look and see it for yourself. Right. Your eyes won't deceive you. Right. But anyway, you have a third one, your spiritual body, which is actually first. Right. And now one of those is off. Then I don't give a 2 cents how much money you got. I don't give a 2 cents how much drugs you think you're selling. I don't give a 2 cents how much dingo of a man you think you are. I don't give a 2 cents how fine you think you are as a woman. I don't give a fine flip about none of that. If one of those off, you out of order. You out of balance. That is correct. Yes, sir. And with if you close-minded, then you listen. I'll put it to you this way now. I'm done. You got 2 people. One with a handful of coins in their hand, a roll full of coins in their hand. They got it closed up. And you got another person standing across them that has a quarter in their hand, but their hand is open. Mm-hmm. Which one is more profitable? And I'll leave you with that. All right. And I don't want to be ringside. Anyway, I need to speak to you real quick. I hear you. Just real quick. Okay. Okay. All right, thank you so very much. You're so very welcome. Preachers just do what you gotta do. Okay. Thank you, darling. All right, it's love out here for you, darling. I know it. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you, love. All right. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye. Yes, indeed. So if anybody else would like to call in before we get on off of here, comments or concerns, if there's anything else you need me to go back real quick, let me know something that you didn't quite understand or understand. Let me know. Okay. But please make sure you go back and watch this video again, take notes, share, have conversation with people, exchange being brought to you the way that they are. It's bring this information to apply it, to have these are weapons you need in order to move forward and to do what you're from. Just fulfill a will, okay? To fulfill the will, because it shall be fulfilled. All right. I'm gonna leave you the way I leave you. I'll leave you.